everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Follow me on social media if you'd like. I have links in the description below. I don't post politics. I don't post opinions. I just like to show my art. That's it. I'm an old man. All I do is just show my drawings. I post about one or two per week. That's it. I also have a free comic book that I'm showing through Twitter or X, as as the kids call it now, and on Instagram. Um, and it's free. It's just something that I do on my spare time, just like this channel. I don't do this professionally. I just do this for fun here. So we're gonna be taking a look at Classic X-Men number 6. I also have a link to the Marvel fan page where Classic X-Men 6, and if you want to know kind of what's up, you can do that there. I have covered 1 through 5 already, and you can feel free to find those. And here we go. I will be telling you what's different from the original as we get to them. I prefer Classic X-Men because it gives you an overall page. I hope to do X-Men all the way through the end of the Dark Phoenix saga with John Byrne, and then after that, just do some issues, but not gonna do the entire X-Men run. But I do want to do all the way through the Dark Phoenix saga. I actually was just gonna do the Dark Phoenix saga, but I just decided, hey, let's just dive in and start from the beginning. And I was going to start at the John Byrne run, and then I was like, well, just so much has happened, let's just go and jump all the way through. So I decided to go all the way through. Classic X-Men is my introduction to the X-Men. It is how I discovered these characters, became hooked. Classic X-Men came out during the Mutant Massacre time or era here in the X-Men. That's kind of when Classic X-Men came out. And it introduced me to their early adventures. I had a buddy in middle school who absolutely loved the X-Men and got me hooked up into it. I actually was a big, mostly DC Batman and Superman guy. And he got me into a lot of other Marvel stuff. Although I did have, I've been collecting a Marvel here and there, but I really paid no attention to the X-Men at all. So, all right, so here we go. First of all, we're going to have this great cover by Arthur Adams. Love his work. P. Craig Russell is the inker of the cover. And then this is the original. This is what Classic X-Men number 6 covers. It Uncanny X-Men, or as it was called back then, just all new, all different X-Men. So number 98. The Arthur Adams cover looks much better. Dave Cockrum drew this cover. So part of the reason I prefer the Classic X-Men is there's backup stories as well as supplemental material. And this supplemental material are these 3 pages. These 3 pages were not in the original. And then the backup story by John Bolton was also not. So this kind of gives you a bit better overall picture. So here's the front piece again, Arthur Adams and P. Craig Russell. So we start in Christmas, and there is an issue of Marvels that was released after the last 4 issues of Marvels by Alex Ross were done. That was a newer issue that covers this stuff here. And I have already covered Marvels, so feel free to check that out if you'd like. So the X-Men are in Rockefeller Center, celebrating the Christmas time. And This is supposed to be Nick Fury and Contessa something, whatever her name is. So we got Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Banshee, Moira McTaggart. We got Storm. We got Colossus, and this dude here would be Nightcrawler. He's using an image inducer here. Um, so Jean Grey asked Storm if she likes the snow. She's like, "Oh, it's pretty, but you know, in the slopes of Kilimanjaro, the snow is always white." And she's like, "Ah, you're as bad as Scott." So they're enjoying the fact that they're getting a white Christmas here. And Nightcrawler and Colossus are hitting on these two ladies here. So Banshee and Moira McTaggart started dating, and so they're gonna kind of take off on their own. They ask Wolverine what he's gonna do. He's smoking a cigarette. He's like, what about it? You know, I got no use for Christmas. So Cyclops is always in character. So they're heading into Rockefeller Plaza here and talking about Wolverine. He's not sure if he's still going to work out. But then, of course, Havoc and Polaris, who are Alex and Lorna here. Like I said, I have covered the previous issues. So they tried to kill the X-Men the previous issue. Feel free to check that out. And so Jean reminds me that it's Christmas and it's time to give it a rest and for him to kiss her, which he does. And then this is supposed to be Jack Kirby here and Stan Lee. So Cyclops doesn't kind of want to kiss, but she ends up getting a kiss. And of course here, uh, Jack Kirby says, "Hey Stan, you know who they were? I tell you, they never used to do that when we had the book." And Stan Lee says, Jack, you know these young kids, they got no respect." So Scott, of course, is happy to be with Jean. Tells us how beautiful she is. She asks if she loves him. He says yes, and she says, "I'm glad." But then suddenly, there's a tear in the roof, and of course, Jean sees right away. And this great panel here, as the Sentinels have come, and thus we get the name of the Sentinels have returned here. Great panel here by Cockrum. Rest in peace, Dave Cockrum. He died several years ago from diabetes. So he was the artist who kind of got the X-Men going during the 70s and was the artist before John Byrne took over. So he'll do most of the issues that we that all the way through. He does like 15 issues or so before John Byrne takes over. So the Sentinels tell him that they can negate their powers, and he says maybe they don't. Those are the old X-Men's, but now there's new X-Men's, and they think that perhaps she didn't have her telekinetic power the last time that they have fought them, so they were prepared to negate her power. So, and Cyclops fires his eye beams at them. Great panel here again from Cockrum. So they take Scott down. They grab Jean Grey and give her a knockout gas. So he is capturing Marvel Girl and leaving here. And so they believe they killed Cyclops. So, but of course, he did not, but he was about to fall, but he hangs on to the um, radio mast. So, and he wonders how long he'll be able to hang on. So they see the Sentinel kind of fall down and break. Banshee recognizes it and had his costume underneath and explains, what the Sentinels are. And feel free, like I said, the Marvel database wiki page, and you can kind of go in there. All the characters are in there, and you can see their origin, kind of like a who's who. So Banshee tells Moira to go find Colossus and Nightcrawler and warn them, and he's gonna go see. And Wolverine, of course, grabs on. He says, "There's a fight brewing. Wolverine's gonna be in it." So, she changes in her costume. I like how they say "human." So, all right. So this page is new. In the original, it went from here to then the next page. So this is a supplemental page here. So kind of gives a little bit more insight. The Sentinels, of course, see the other mutants, so they neutralize Banshee, and then they're about to grab Wolverine. He takes out his claws, hits him, and then he hits him hard. You can see going through the building, and the water, not tower, I don't know what those things are called. So I find it funny that people would live in Marvel Comics New York. Goodness gracious, insurance would be through the roof. So like I said, the original did not have that supplemental page, so it went right to here. So Storm sees Cyclops, and he's not able to hang on, but she catches him and says this is why they added that supplemental page, because they showed this off panel about Banshee and Wolverine. So here they had a way to just show that. So the Sentinels are behind, and they fire at Cyclops. They meant to terminate him, and they didn't. And Storm is about to go one-on-one with the Sentinel, and creating a lot of wind and a big cyclone. So they're all like, it's a hurricane. So, which it was a white Christmas, so you wouldn't get tropical storms during that, but she is able to destroy that Sentinel. And then Cyclops remembers Professor Xavier, who had taken a vacation, and says, "Oh no, he has to be warned." And so, love the name Dejathoris. So, Professor Xavier is out fishing with Peter Corbeau, I believe. And so, here they're going about all his accomplishments. And I like these zipatones, although I probably wouldn't have used zipatones this like this. I probably would have used just more more dots. It's probably the zipatones I would have chosen to use. So, and so Professor Xavier thinks that he's got a bite here from a fish, but it turns out it is one of the Sentinels. Why would they come from the water? I don't know. For dramatic effect. Um, so X uses his telepathic powers, um, a mind blast, which I don't know how that would work on a robot, but it does. It's comic books. Try not to overthink it. So, and off they go on the yacht to try and get away. But then he gets these images that have been tormenting him. Um, I always thought this looks like a fly, but um, and Corbeau is asking for help, but here comes the Sentinel from underneath, and leaves Corbeau and um takes Professor X, and he's here um a long ways from land, so he's gonna have to swim. And here we have another new page. So this page was not included in the original, and so uh, Colossus and Nightcrawler um, found those girls that they were hitting on, and of course here we have a machine. This is mutant contact established. Peter sees a poster of Anya, who we had in the previous issue as the backup story. He's thinking about her, and here she says, or Nightcrawler says, can't help but thinking we've met before. And she's like, I can't place the face. And of course, he's saying it's a false one generated by the image inducer, and wonders how she would react if she knew who he was. And of course, Moira says, "Hey, we need you." She asks if they're police officers, and they're like, not quite." So, and she, of course, knows that it is Nightcrawler, but this is a story for another time. So kind of before we get to it, this is Amanda Sifton, who is actually Jermaine Azardos. So I mean, it's a she does have a love interest with Nightcrawler that will be revealed, but it's years and years and years at another time. So we'll probably not cover. But if you go to that again, if you go to that website with the Marvel database, feel free to check out her origin there. So the surviving X-Men, or the X-Men that weren't captured, this is also a new page. This is supplemental. This is was not in the original. They're kind of getting ready to for the Sentinels, and Cyclops is trying to use Cerebro to see if they're able to detect the X-Men. So of course we also have the Hellfire Club. Again, we did not know who the Hellfire Club was at during this time because they weren't introduced till the Dark Phoenix saga. But here it's kind of showing that they've actually been involved with the X-Men from the very beginning. And if you ever read Ed Piskor's X-Men Grand Design, he does an excellent job showing how the Hellfire Club was involved with the X-Men almost from the beginning. So, X-Men Grand Design by Ed Piskor. So, here they catch the waves of Cerebro, and they said the shields can block them out. And of course, Shaw says that the X-Men are searching for the missing X-Men. He says, "You're a mutant, Shaw. Is there any chance of you being detected?" He's like, "None, Mr. Chairman, because they carry some personal shields to mutant members of the council." So, and it's proceeding according to plan. And if here it just goes to show you that they're familiar with the X-Men will soon be eliminated as a threat to them as part of their plan. Of course, here's some thought balloons that this person does not like. We're not showing him yet, but He's like, creditless simpleton, Lang succeed. Not merely those heroes will be destroyed, but you, Sebastian Shaw, and your fellow mutants as well. So this person does not like mutants either. So, and then this is where the original picked up then. So here Stephen Lang has Banshee, Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Professor Xavier here. He's told that there's a solar radiation storm and that they're going to have to shut down the Sentinels for the time being. And Lang says we'll make do with the mutants that we have now. Wolverine is not giving any readings, which is leading into that mysterious, during this time nobody knew anything about Wolverine. They're not even sure if he's a mutant, but the Sentinel said he is for sure. Um, you can see Wolverine is getting a little upset here. And of course, uh, Jean Grey here basically calls him a Nazi. He says he's no Nazi. He's a man doing his duty. He's going to kill mutants to save humanity. It goes back to that whole principle that mutants were created for Stan Lee to do kind of his civil rights um, thing. I always said, why not make more black characters? But hey, the X-Men. Um, so the X-Men represents um, uh, discriminated people groups, blacks during that time, and whatever would be. But it just became its own, like, the hatred that it just doesn't make too much sense in the current modern Marvel thing. They're just used as this escape. So, all right. So he slaps Jean Grey, and Wolverine breaks out. You can see him with taking out the claws, and so he dispatches everyone, and Stephen Lang is running away and tells the Sentinel to go get him. And alive if he can, dead if he must. So Wolverine, of course, jumps toward the Sentinel and shreds him to pieces, and everybody's escaping. Um, so they put on their costumes, and Jean Grey is, of course, she's got that dress on, and she's gonna try to tear it. Wolverine just says, no problem, I can do that. He tears the whole thing, and of course now she's got a bit of a mini dress, and of course he's like, anytime, Red. And so they're saying, what about Professor X? Yeah, can't leave him there. Wolverine's like, we can't carry him. He's, if we get him, none of us can get out. And she's like, we find a way. And here comes another Sentinel. Banshee uses his sonic scream on him. These Sentinels, man, for as expensive as they are, they certainly go down quickly. So the three take off running. Now they have a bunch of Sentinels in there. And here come all the X-Men fighting all the Sentinels, knocking them down. This one grabs Wolverine. Marvel Girl. Oh, I keep calling her Marvel Girl. Jean Grey, she is just using her name during this time, hits her with her telekinetic blast. He drops Wolverine. Banshee gets her, and he grabs Wolverine. They're gonna bust out, and he's using a sonic scream, but then the sonic scream stops. So they think they are outside, and they are, but it's a little bit different. So Nightcrawler goes to Cyclops, asks if there's anything. He's like, nope, there's nothing. So it's been 4 days, and Nightcrawler tells him, you you're working yourself too hard, and suddenly they see a intruder, and he's gonna go check it out. But already you can see here, Bamf, and Nightcrawler has already teleported, and it turns out it's Peter Corbeau, who's um, cold here. First, he had to swim, and then he had to go all the way to upstate New York. So, um, he's telling Corbeau that there's no sign of the X-Men. They appear to be dead, and they can't accept it. And Corbeau makes the connection to the solar flares that the Sentinels were talking before, and realizes that they're not on Earth. And here, the X-Men are in outer space, and no suit, no nothing. So there's no air. So um, and we get it to be continued. Now, because this is classic X-Men, we do have a backup story. So, we'll get down. We'll get to that in a minute here. Not sure what to do about all the blacks that were spotted here. Uh, I don't know. Do you like it? Do you guys like it? I don't. I don't know what to think of all these blacks here, but oh well. So we have a wordless backup story here, drawn by John Bolton, written by Chris Claremont with Jean Grey. This is before we get to the night. So this is the day of so it's called A Love Story. And this is the same, so the Sentinel story was that night. This is during the day. She's using her telekinetic to hold the bags while she closes the door, and then uses her telekinetics to bring them up, and then put things away. When I draw, I do my noses the way he does, very minimal approach. Here's kind of a little bit of mutants and telekinetics and telepathy. So she's got a grandfather clock. So she's gonna go take a shower or a bath. And again, the alarm clock rings, and she gets off the bath with her roommate Misty. So she's kind of leaves her a note. As agreed, Jeannie, she's gone for the weekend. Go for broke. Love your roommate Misty. Cyclops phone. He'll pick you up by 7:30. Be ready. Be rude. Be happy. So, and then she grabs the notebook, and or it's a planner, and of course she's got Scott circled, and the picture uses her powers to get a record player and creates a with her powers, like if Cyclops was there or something, and then holds them. The alarm clock goes again, or not the. I keep saying alarm clock, but you know what I mean. The grandfather clock. So, kind of gets her back in. The clothes fall. She's gonna go upstairs, and she's got a poster for the Phoenix and the carpet. And she's gonna sit on the side of the bed. These are her parents. She puts the pictures away, and she's thinking and contemplating. So she's gonna open the closet here. That's what these things are. And she's gonna try out, see what works. Of course, we know she picks this one because that's the one that was in the story. So she needs to get ready. Again, I do this nose thing, just boop. Very minimalist approach. And when the doorbell rings, Here's Cyclops, dressed all spiffy, and Jean Grey. And he brings her a rose. They have a kiss. And she grabs her coat. And off they go to fight Sentinels that they don't know. But we get like something here, kaboom. And we sort of don't know who this is, but we are implied that the Phoenix, because this is kind of how it ends here. This is the last panel. So, and the Phoenix has sort of had its eye on Jean Grey. So we are assuming that this is Phoenix here. And then, of course, this is what the back cover looked like. So here we go. So Classic X-Men number 6, written by Chris Claremont, drawn by Dave Cockrum, and we also have John Bolton as the backup artist. The original story is from 1976. This, of course, is from 1986. So this was the Classic X-Men was released 10 years later. So like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. Bye.